Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here today. This is the regular board meeting of the Sunshine Coast Regional District, and we are here at our regional district offices at 1975 Field Road, Sechelt, BC, so I hope everybody is where they're supposed to be. It is Thursday, January 23rd, 2020. I would like to acknowledge we are within the territory of the Sechelt First Nation. We have an amended agenda here in front of us, a few late items added on, I guess one late item added on from earlier today from our Corporate and Administrative Services Committee recommendation, as well as there are some maps that are added on to the bylaws. So directors, make sure you have all of those pieces in front of you before we get started. And if I can ask for a motion to adopt this amended agenda, please. So moved and seconded. Are there any further additions, deletions, subtractions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our regular board meeting minutes of January 9th, 2020, pages 1 to 30. Wow, I don't think we've had a minute package that big in quite a while, probably since budget last time. Annex A of your package. May I ask for a motion to adopt, please? So moved, seconded. Are there any changes, errors, omissions, deletions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Is there any business arising from the minutes or unfinished business? There was one. One moment, please. Okay. You'll find it. Well, it was a title? Okay. I'll look to the other directors if there's any business arising from the minutes or unfinished business. Okay.
Director Seegers. Number 21.
On what page?
Page 8.
Page 8. Okay.
It's titled Sechelt Library Apportionment Options, but it talks about surpluses for economic development. So I think that just the title is incorrect.
Okay. I'll look to staff on that, if there's any. Go ahead, Corporate Officer.
Thank you, Chair. We'll make the correction in the minutes.
Wonderful. Okay. Is there anything else? Would you like me to amend that adoption just to reflect the change? Is that needed, or?
Thank you, Chair. It's not necessary.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Any other unfinished business? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. Presentations and delegations. We have none today. We have reports. So, directors, I'm going to ask for a motion to receive all the reports at this time. So moved, seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. And the first one we have, Annex B, pages 31 to 36 of the package, is our Planning and Community Development Committee recommendations from January 9th, 2020. A few of those have been previously adopted. Before we adopt the block as a whole, directors, would you like to pull out any of those recommendations to discuss separately? Seeing none, nobody's chomping at the bit here. I'll ask for a motion to adopt those recommendations, please. So moved, seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. 3A, our Corporate and Administrative Services Committee recommendation number 12 of earlier today, page 36A of your package. It's regarding the parcel roll review panel. So those we discussed earlier today. So may I ask for a motion to adopt? So moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Or opposed? No, okay, good. Motion carries. Okay, Annex C, pages 37 to 38 of our package is the, from the Corporate Officer, it is the 2020 Advisory Planning Commission appointments. Corporate Officer, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Chair. Each year the Board makes appointments to Advisory Planning Commissions. Directors have provided a list of members and they're attached to this report in Attachment A.
Okay, thank you. Now, and to be clear, these are members that have all the current APC members, unless their term has expired, are still continuing on. And then there's one instance here where I've noticed that there's one that's being appointed for a one-year term.
Correct.
Okay? Because otherwise the appointment is for 2 years.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. So directors, any questions or comments on the commission appointments? Yes, Director McMahon.
I'm just very happy that so many people in the community are willing to step up and do this. We will have, as of this motion, 10 people on the area EAPC, and I'm really couldn't be more pleased.
Terrific. And I will note that we actually had an application that came in that, and I found out something new about the APC, that not everybody, you don't have to actually live in the community as long as 50% of the members are from within the community. So I have actually, one of my recommendations is somebody who lives outside of our area, but Director Ties and I had an arm wrestle over that, and I won. Yeah.
I already got one other
Okay.
interloper.
Oh, okay. So we're good. Excellent. Okay, so may I ask for a motion on the recommendations on page 37 be moved? So moved and seconded? Seconded. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, Annex D, pages 39 to 40 of our report. It's our new CAO. If you'd like to present your report, please.
Thank you very much. Really happy to be here. Despite weathering our extreme weather of the last couple of weeks, I'm extremely grateful that I was able to start during such a calm and quiet time here at the Sunshine Coast Regional District. Really, really nice to, be able to calmly settle into the new job. Even despite Director McMahon's valiant attempts to overwhelm my in-basket at work, I am not scared off in any way. So I'm slowly getting my feet out underneath me. I'll be reaching out to you as individual directors, the ones I haven't had a chance to meet with. Hopefully we can have a bit of a sit-down here soon. I've managed to tour a couple of the fire stations. We were there on a particularly blustery night, and it was great to see 2 of the fire stations still training that night, and really enjoying the opportunity to meet and learn a little bit about the amazing team we have here at the Sunshine Coast Regional District. So, and really appreciated the fact that you supported and Mark agreed to stay for that 2-week transition. It's rare to have that opportunity, and it was really valuable. So thank you.
So it's Director McMahon's turn this month to overwhelm the inbox. Is anybody taking that on for next? Or maybe we'll leave it as a surprise.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm clearing space.
Excellent. Directors, do you have any questions for the CAO on his report? Okay, Director Seekers.
I'm pleased that you're going to continue the practice of Mark Brown in having regular meetings with the other CAOs. I think that's very valuable to have the CAOs from the other the organizations coming together and sharing. It promotes sharing among staff and also provides valuable input to all of us at this level. So thank you for that.
Directors, any further questions, comments? Nope. Thank you very much, and I'm glad that your trial by snow has arrived, and there's nothing like canceling a meeting when you have a snowstorm in the forefront. And as we'll see by the motion that's coming up a little bit late in a couple of minutes, that you never can tell. But based on the forecast we had, best of intentions. Okay, thank you so much. We'll move on to those. We have no communications today, but we do have a couple of motions, and this is in regards to the Council Infrastructure Services Committee that we had that was scheduled on January 16th. And then with that, we've also have a motion, or part of the and that is that a special board meeting be scheduled, and that is in case of any of the budget implications that are coming up on the Infrastructure Services Committee. So, a corporate officer, did you want to address anything on this, or?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to point out the special board meeting is being scheduled for 3 p.m. as opposed to our regular 1:30 start time due to the anticipation of a longer Infrastructure Services Committee meeting and the fact that we will have to roll over many of those recommendations to approve them at board to have them ready for round 2 budget.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Remuneration just keeps on coming up, doesn't it? Okay, so directors,
I'll make that motion.
well, so moved and seconded. Okay, any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, page 2 of the agenda, amended agenda. We're going into our bylaws. So we have a couple of bylaws that are going to first reading at this meeting. First one is on Annex E, pages 41 and 41A of our package. And this is for first reading of the Half Moon Bay Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw, number 675.3, 2020. So this is for the electoral area directors. You have 1 vote each. May I ask for first reading at this time? So moved and seconded. This is for first reading. Okay, seconded. Yes, it's electoral area directors. Okay, so I'll call the question. All those in favor of first reading? Okay, and I vote for first reading, so as chair. And would you like to register your opposition? Okay, opposed, Directors Hiltz and Director McMahon. Okay, but it passes as the chair votes in favor. So number 8 on our agenda is the Annex F, pages 42, 43A of your package. And this is for first reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 310.174, along with the addition of the Appendix A map. And so may I ask for a motion for first reading, please? And this is the electoral area directors only. So moved. First reading of the bylaw amendment 310.174. And seconded? Seconded. Okay. All right. All those in favor? Okay. Opposed? And I vote in favor as chair. So in that case, that passes as well. And do you two want those recorded? Yes. Okay. So noted. Okay. So those will be going to first reading. All right. So next on our agenda are our directors' reports. And the order we're going to start in today, we're going to start in Roberts Creek with Director Ties. Now I'm pluralizing everybody.
Thank you, Chair. Not a whole lot to report over the last couple of weeks. Things are pretty quiet, but tomorrow there is a protest for Clack Creek related between 2 and 4 at the intersection of Highway 101 and B&K. So, apparently I will be standing for the rough-skinned newt. They've made a list of all the species that will be displaced, and yes, and somebody's making a sign for me that I'll be standing for the rough-skinned newt. And if anybody else wants to show up and hold a sign for another displaced species, you're more than welcome. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
So that's enough for Director Rough-Skinned Newt, is it? Okay. Thank you very much, Director Ties. Let's go over to Area F and Director Hiltz.
Thanks, Chair. What can I report? I guess the main thing for me is stepping into Director McMahon's shoes for the Gibsons and District Public Library. We're doing that switch around which still hasn't been made official. But so I'm officially the alternate, and we were looking to change that. So something we haven't done yet. Okay. Yeah. So
I'm going to look over to the corporate officer, and what's the best process on this?
Thank you, Chair. I would recommend a resolution that appoints Director Hiltz as the liaison, if that in fact is the case, and the alternate be Director McMahon be the alternate, and then we will update accordingly. But a resolution would be helpful.
So why don't we look at doing that? Do you want to do that right now? Or do we want to wait until new business?
It doesn't matter, actually. You can make the resolution now, or we can, if it needs further discussion, you can bring it up under new business.
New business? Okay, well, let's just do it under new business, and we'll continue with that. The rest of your report, Director Hiltz?
The snow issue was a significant issue. There were secondary roads that were not plowed by the end. There was people were making reports, and particularly on the Granthams Hill, there's an ongoing issue of water seeping out of a driveway from drainage and freezing, and there was some kind of a incident on the hill. But that's all I kind of know of. It's an ongoing one, and it's tied with the water that starts at the top and ends up at the bottom. As water is wont to do. And then the freezing temperature. It's a known issue, and it's been going on for years. And so, yeah, so we got through. So I'm happy.
So a downhill luge track, essentially. Bobsled. Luge. Skeleton. There we go. Okay, thank you, Director Hiltz. Okay, so from Area F, we'll go over to Area A, and Director Lee.
Well, actually, it's been quite quiet since the last directors' meeting, except for a little bit of snow. Got the odd call about roads not being plowed. But that did prompt me to try and find out what the terms of the Capilano contract is on snow plowing. And that's no easy feat. It's easy to find out what the contract is, but it's very hard to understand the tables because you can't get a description of what A, B, C, D, E is, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is. No, I spent days. Anyways, I finally figured it out. But I was thinking that we should, hopefully, we should have something like that on our website here, or maybe something that is part of our briefing when we become directors, because we get it every snowfall, the same darn thing, you know. So, but it turns out that the requirements are quite clear in the contract, and once you understand what it's all about, they actually are meeting the terms of their contract. It's not ideal, and you end up with a lot of compacted snow, but that's the contract. So that's, I don't know how many calls I got and emails I got. I kind of give up. I just had a canned reply. TELUS wants to talk about cell coverage. We haven't made that appointment yet, but apparently they're thinking of doing something around here. So once we get that meeting, it's the people I've been talking to quite regular because of the Egmont situation and the lack of the high-speed internet and cell up there. So hopefully when I hear about that, I'll let you guys know. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Lee. So we'll go to the District of Sechelt, and we'll start with Director Toth.
I'll use somebody else's mic. Thank you very much. We had a couple of meetings get canceled due to our extreme weather, which, you know, safety needs to be paramount. You can always reschedule a meeting. Our public works crews were able to generally keep up with all the problems. Still have some ongoing flooding issues, but and they're not all our problems. Some of them are on the highway. We had a committee of the whole meeting yesterday. We were looking at budget overviews around our operating budgets, and we discussed and passed a new procurement policy for the district, which sets limits for the officers and also incorporates some social procurement into the policy. So we're hardly the first on that, you know, but it's good to get that incorporated, and that's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Director Toth. We'll go over to Area E, and Director McMahon, please.
Thank you. when I wasn't busy sending email. I was doing other things. The the top of the news in Area E is sad news. Clint Davey of the Gibson's Wildlife Rehabilitation Center died on the weekend at home after a long illness. Clint and Irene have taken care of sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife for 35 years out of their home in Elphinstone. They're irreplaceable. I've seen on Facebook that Irene and her volunteers are going to try and keep the service going, but I have to wonder how long they can do that, because it's tremendously challenging, and it's entirely funded by donations from the community. So they, of course, are taking donations. The service for Clint is on Monday at 2 p.m. at Devlin Funeral Home, and there will be a reception afterwards at the Gibson's Legion at 3 p.m. Last week I chaired my first public hearing. I'd like to thank the residents of Roberts Creek for breaking me in gently. It was an interesting evening, but I think it went very well, and people managed to air their differences in a respectful manner. And I handed over the library board to Mark because I'm going on to Scredo. I won't mention the snow. What the heck? I attended the Gibson's Chamber meeting. I met with residents of the Wood Creek Park Neighborhood Association about their sewage woes. I will be going tonight to the track bike short film night at 101. And on the weekend, I'll be meeting with the residents adjacent to Block 1313, a.k.a. the Reed Road Forest, to talk about their issues. So things are fairly busy in Elphinstone. Thank you.
Thank you, Director McMahon. Director Seegers, please.
I like the bike shorts name. I'll be there tonight, too. Friday the 10th, I had the privilege to present the Sovereign's Medal for Volunteers to Lorene Reed in the District of Sechelt. She's a long-time coast volunteer. And it was interesting. Yes, they listed all of the boards and committees, et cetera, and things that she'd done. So I actually took the opportunity to reach out to some of her longtime friends to find out some of the things that they knew her for. And they were things like, there's always somebody living in her basement. In fact, at the end, we were finished the whole event and all the handouts and awards, et cetera, and her husband came up to me and said, yeah, we have somebody living in our basement now. So it made it personal. It was great to see her being acknowledged, because she just notices what's missing in the community and then just goes out and makes it happen. So it was really nice to see that. On Saturday, there was a tribute to Mike Shanks, longtime councillor for the District of Sechelt. Very well attended. It was a short celebration, but it gave the community an opportunity to acknowledge who he was for the Sunshine Coast. He was involved in the inaugural Coast Show and Shine and the Rod Run. And for the last few years, he's actually been managing it again. So a big hole. And he also was on the library board. Right? So, yeah, he'll be missed. What else? Not a lot. Upcoming. Bike shorts tonight, yes. And then next week, Monday, District of Sechelt Council is launching our council conversations at Rockwood main floor from 6 to 8. We'll be doing it once a month, last Monday of the month. And it's open to the community to come and have conversations with us. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wonder where that idea... No, just kidding.
We did it during the election. We talked about it.
Never mind. Okay, over to the town of Gibsons and Director Kroll, please.
Thank you. A bit of a quiet time. On Saturday the 11th, Director McMahon and Director Holtzener, Beamish, and myself and Sammy the dog hiked up the Sprockets bike trails to just have a look at firsthand the logging operation that's going on above the expansion of the gravel pit, considering it's sort of part of the aquifer recharge area. There's a little concern. No, there's a lot of concern. We have a lot of people concerned in the community about the foreshore and the aquifer, but to my mind, the real concern is in the recharge area where it's sort of out of our immediate control. So it was really appreciated. Mark had incredible insight. He came totally prepared with maps and photographs and charts and great explanation. It's a beautiful part of the coast. There was a bit of snow on the ground. It was challenging in areas, but it was beautiful. We have pictures and everything for the memoirs. To the snow, on Wednesday, I went into Vancouver. I had an appointment, and it's one of those stupid ones. If you cancel, you get dinged $75. So off I went. I managed to get home before the ferry system shut down for the day. But on the whole, I really have to commend the works crews on the coast. The roads here on the coast, made the lower mainland really look like Snowmageddon. The roads here were drivable at least. Down there, buses on totally flat Marine Drive were having trouble navigating the roads. It was a joke. So I really appreciate that. Something that the town of Gibson staff did, which is sort of a good idea, some of the people who work in parks have had their sort of skill level increased so they can drive trucks with air brakes and things like that. So rather than sitting there twiddling their thumbs, well, I can't cut the grass today, they're driving trucks, they're plowing the streets, they're plowing sidewalks. So it's, giving them a little more sort of participation in the functioning of the community. But it was kudos to them because the streets in Gibsons were really dealt with in a very prompt manner considering the resources we have to deal with. Other than that, fairly quiet. I'd known Clint Davey for a long time, so it's anyway.
Thank you, Director Kroll. Let's see. Since our last meeting on January 9th, that evening we had the local government show with Mayor Seegers, Mayor Beamish, and Chief Paul, and sat down for an hour with Sean Eckford and had a nice little conversation about everything that's going on. I would like to note that if you hadn't heard yet, the Shishalt Nation Council has been acclaimed. So there's 4 councillors, but there is a 4-way race for the position of chief. So election is February 15th, and advance poll on the 9th. So we're looking forward to seeing the outcome of that. And then last week, after the snow settled down, I got a couple of phone calls about snow removal, but I think there's only so much you can do when it comes down. We had between 18 inches and 2 feet at our house, and we're quite down close to the water, so it's pretty abnormal for us to get that much snow. But the dog loved it, which was great, so she would stay out there all day and wouldn't let us bring her back in. So on the last Friday, I sat down with the editorial panel of the Coast Reporter, and we taped a broadcast, and we had a really good conversation. I think so. It's pretty daunting to have 3 members of the media who are very well versed on everything that's going on the coast and hitting you with questions. And I will admit that I volunteered myself for this, and it was it was a good conversation, and I think they got a lot of information out of it, and we had a good. It was valuable. And then later that day, we had Connie and Sophie joined us for a media tour of the landfill, and which I'm hoping was very valuable to the two of you. And thank you so much to staff for arranging that. And it was still a little bit of a snowy day, but it was a nice bright day. So I hope that was valuable. Coming up, we have. At the beginning of February, we have the Electoral Area Directors Forum in Vancouver, and then following that, we have Local Government Leadership Academy, and I've been asked to be a panelist with Josie Osborne, from the Mayor of Tofino, is moderating, and the subject is women in politics. So we were talking about the success we've had here on the Sunshine Coast, and with an extra female at the Shishalt Nation Council. That's really exciting as well. So we're well over that 50% threshold of elected women on the coast, which is amazing. So I'm going to talk to at LGLA as a panelist about why I believe we've had some of the success we've had here, and how we support each other. So really looking forward to that. And as for that concludes our director's reports. And we have one new item of new business. And I'll look over to Director Hiltz if you'd like to introduce that with the Gibson's Public Library appointment.
Sure. So the motion is, the issue is about changing just a liaison from the board to the Gibsons and District Public Library, from Director McMahon as the lead liaison to alternate, and myself as the lead liaison. So a motion that
A motion that Director Hiltz be appointed as liaison from the SCRD to the Gibsons and District Public Library, and that Director McMahon be appointed as alternate liaison.
Yes, as stated.
Okay, so you've moved that, and seconded by Director McMahon. And any further discussion? Anything else we need in the motion from staff? That's good. All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are you opposed? Motion carries. Would you like that opposition, recorded? Okay. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so that passes. We have no items for in camera, so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, and then we'll go to questions from our audience. Motion to adjourn, seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay.